Happy Friday, everybody. I just wanted to bring hopefully a short little video to talk a little bit more about VPNs. And this all started because Edward Snowden tweeted out something about ExpressVPN, which made me think, VPNs again. So just to let you know what a VPN is. A VPN, for anybody new, is basically a tunnel, an encrypted tunnel between your computer and a VPN server. And that's really all a VPN is. The top image shows you what a VPN or traffic is like on a VPN. It encrypts it so that your internet service provider can't see the data. And it exits at the VPN server itself. So the one down below shows no VPN. You just come right out of your home or computer and you get to the internet, and your internet service provider can see traffic in your DNS and that type of thing. But what people forget is that you can start snooping right at a VPN server. So in a way, it's kind of a honeypot. If you know a VPN server, you can sit there and look at all the traffic that's exiting, because you know that every connection that's coming out of that VPN server is a VPN connection. So let's go back to Edward. He tweeted out that basically ExpressVPN was purchased by a company. And if you look at some of the history of that company, things start to get a little fishy, and this is where you need to look at who provides you with your services that you are paying for. I would never, ever, ever use a free VPN service, because if you don't pay for a product, you are the product. So let's go in and look at the company that did purchase ExpressVPN. Let's see, we are going to go. ExpressVPN joins a company called Cape. And Cape seems to be buying up VPN companies. So, the latest and largest was ExpressVPN. They have Ghost. They have a private internet access, PIA, ZenMate. They have a variety of services that they've purchased, and they are now offering under the original brand, so it doesn't look like it's coming from Cape, which can be normal. But when a company is usually purchased, the internal side of the company might change, even though the outside presentation of the company may not. So let's go and look at the history of Cape. Actually, Cape was formed out of, let's look back. What is Cape Technologies? Cape Technologies is a company that came out of a company called Crossrider. And Crossrider was created and formed by an ex-military intelligence, actually a Israeli, out of Unit 8200. And Crossrider was a browser extension company that would inject malware and adware into your browser when you downloaded the extensions for your browser. That's why it's really important to know what extensions you're running on your browser, because they can do some malicious things if you don't know what you're installing. So the CEO, Kobe, I can't pronounce his last name, he came out of Unit 8200, which is Israeli intelligence. And let's look at this is a little bit of information about Israeli intelligence. It's a group that was not talked about when you joined. I'll leave URLs so that you can read through these articles, but I didn't want to get too down in the deep of these. But there was a couple there was some information showing that how many people came out of this group that were technology startups that ended up in other companies. And most of us probably don't know for sure if we ever knew an intelligence agent, but I know that most of the time you don't necessarily leave it. You just kind of carry it forward with you wherever you go. So yeah, here we go. Another 8200 alum whose startup was just purchased by Oracle for $50 million. There was one person who sold his startup for $300 million to Apple, and another one to Cisco for $500 million. These were both of my roommates in Unit 8200. So we have a lot of intelligence pieces that are sold into companies. What happens after that point, I don't know, and that's kind of for you to decide. But getting back to what Cape Technologies came from, which was Crossrider and their history of being with military intelligence. So that brings the question of, what is Cape Technologies really? And what are they bringing to the market? Right now, these are their brands. And you can see there's CyberGhost, PIA, some antivirus, another VPN company. There's a lot of pieces that they have purchased and they are purchasing. And the foundation of the company is very questionable of where it came from. So I'm going to go back to agree with Edward. And not just about ExpressVPN, but about a lot of VPN companies out there. I can't ever recommend any VPN company except for my own, because I know who is running it. I know all the engineers, me. And so you really need to question what service provider you're using for internet access, for VPN service, for anything that your sensitive data is going across. So there's no real answers here. There are more questions, but I think it's important to question what service providers, what services you are using, and make sure that you stay safe out there. Thanks a lot. Just thought I'd bring this to your attention, kind of put something in your mind for the weekend to think about. Have a great weekend.